Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking Week 11 in the NFL. We are really getting down there, almost to playoff time. So we're going to go over half of the games today, and then we're going to go over the next games that we didn't go over for tomorrow's episode, so you can get a game by game here. And we're going to start it off, get right into this thing with Browns, Eagles right off the bat. Browns get the 22-17 win. Browns are actually 7-3 now on the year, so they're playing pretty well. And this one, though, fantasy-wise, let's say, not much for Baker Mayfield. Only 204, no touchdowns. You know, just not much going there for really the passing game in general. There just wasn't much there. But the running game is what you rely on. And normally, I mean, we saw last week, Chubb and Hunt both did great. This week, the carries did go more towards Chubb. Hunt did get in double digits. Chubb went 20 carries, 114 yards, no touchdowns. Hunt turned his 13 only into 11 yards, but hey, he got the touchdown, right? So he saved it that way. Wasn't great, but he saved it with that touchdown. And I don't know what to make of that. I think he still got enough carries. It just didn't turn into much, which I don't honestly think you worry too much about it. I think he's still going to get the same opportunity next week. I mean, Chubb had a 54-yard run that really boosted his numbers too. So other than that, it would have been like 19 for 60. It's not like he was setting the world on fire except for one run. So I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Hunt owner. I'd still throw him in the lineup next week. Yeah,
I trust the talent and the way that the team is moving. I mean, you said it. Baker Mayfield is a non-factor at the moment, and the wide receivers as well. I mean, Jarvis Landry, when OBJ went down, you would assume that he would get an uptick. It does not happen like that. I mean, Hodge and Higgins were their top two leading receivers, and they only had 3 catches. Yep. There was no touchdowns to go around. So knowing that their offense has to go through Chubb and Hunt. And even though he had a bad game, being able to get into the red zone and score does save his day. I think that if this is the worst case scenario, you're looking at a pretty safe bet. So I like Chubb and Hunt moving forward. That is the way that they have to win, defense and running the ball. So I'm not worried with one, quote unquote down week.
Then Eagles side, they go to 3-6-1. They're not very good, but they still have a chance. They're still first place in the NFC East. So they got that going for them. Wentz threw 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 235 yards. One of those touchdowns went to Dallas Goedert. So Goddard had a 5 for 77 and a touchdown. Good game there for him finally. Nice to see. That's
really nice to see, especially after hyping him for so long, right, coming off the injured reserve. It'll be interesting moving forward. How do you look at it? Because now you're hearing rumblings about Zach Ertz possibly being back in a week or two. Mm-hmm. We'll find out. It's not for sure. My inkling is still saying, as far as the fantasy season goes, I still like Dallas Goedert moving forward until the end. Do you believe that would change when Zach Ertz comes back, or are you still feeling Dallas Goedert?
It'd probably be close. I'll be honest. I don't know if I love anybody in this passing offense anymore, I thought it was going to be better than this, but I think I'd still lean Goddard. I think I'd still lean Goddard. I mean, Ertz wasn't looking any good before he got hurt there. So
I thought Dallas Goedert looked better anyway.
Yeah.
And once again, they need plenty of help. I don't think that Ertz going in will take away from Goddard. I think they'll finally get their 1-2 back. So I'm still very much on the Dallas Goedert train, even if Ertz comes back earlier than we thought. And that's kind of the point I wanted to make. Miles Sanders, kind of interesting, 16 carries for 66 yards. He had 3 catches for 15. He has the ability to be a big play threat, to be very good. What is your look moving into the playoffs? Are you hesitant now to play him a little more because of how poor that the Eagles have been playing? Or do you still feel relatively safe marching him out there as like an RB2?
I feel fine with it. He's going to bust one and get a touchdown or two. And he's the main guy there. Boston Scott's not going to take away from his workload. So I feel good just at the fact that he's going to get the volume. So I'm comfortable with it. I just don't love the offense. That is what worries me, but I think I'm good with it. All right, how about Saints, Falcons? Saints win 24-9 with Taysom Hill leading the way there. So Taysom Hill threw for 233 yards off 18 of 23. Didn't throw any, but he ran 2 of them in. So if you are on ESPN and you get to play Taysom Hill at tight end, I mean, you absolutely love life right now. It is an insane cheat code to have. We'll see if they get rid of that cheat code next week. There is already – I did see a tweet from Field Yates, I believe, that said they're going to reassess it after this week. So what will that mean? I don't know. What will it mean if you have him currently in your lineup at tight end? Will they automatically kick him out? I don't know how that works. It's a lot of moving parts there. But if you get to keep him at tight end, yeah, you're feeling pretty good right now if that's the case. Even at quarterback, though, if he's going to run in for touchdowns, he's interesting as an actual quarterback play. If your league doesn't allow you to play him at tight end.
Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, they definitely had the kid gloves on with him as far as he threw the ball, right? I mean, he was 18 for 23 for 233 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but that is good enough to win. And even though I feel like the Saints have not been themselves this year, they're 8-2. And like right, you look at that and you're like, how is that possible? Drew Brees hasn't really been Drew Brees. Like Michael Thomas has been hurt or suspended for the entire year pretty much. How in the world are they doing this?
I know.
And I think it's because they're, relying on just good, solid football as far as like defense and not turning the ball over. Taysom Hill has proved today that he's not going to turn the ball over. And if you have that dual threat, I think that this type of performance, and we'll find out for sure, but I do feel like this would say, hey, he's sticking in the lineup. They're not going to move to Jameis or anything.
No, they won't be.
Win with the guy.
Yeah, and so I was surprised at this one. Michael Thomas got 9 of 104 with Taysom Hill. I don't know. I just didn't expect much, but it worked out pretty well for Michael Thomas finally there. The one interesting part was Alvin Kamara didn't have a single catch. So I don't know. We'll see if that's a thing with Taysom Hill. I don't know. It's only 1 week. I'm not going to read too much into it. It's just a little interesting note there, I think. And then he did have 13 of 45. Kamara did on the ground for a touchdown. Murray was 12 of 49. So they basically split the workload there at running back. But Kamara usually gets all the catches, and that just didn't happen this week.
Here's a question. And once again, like you said, Latavius Murray and he did catch a couple of passes that amped him up. Are you afraid of Kamara's value if Taysom Hill is going to be the quarterback for the next couple of weeks, right? And back in the day when Lamar was doing so well, we thought, well, the type of offense they ran, it definitely benefited people like Ingram and whoever else was there a year ago. But this year, definitely not the same. And I think this one's more akin to, say, a Buffalo or a, possibly New England style that when the quarterback runs a lot, it feels like it takes away from the running back's opportunities. Do you think that is going to happen here with he's not quite as the passer. He hasn't proved himself at least, and he's going to run the ball a lot more. Is that going to eat into Kamara's value?
It might. Honestly, I need to see one more week of it, but that 0 catch thing really worried me. If Alvin Kamara is not getting catches, he can make by with 12 carries. That can be fine. But he needs to get 7 or 8 catches along with that. And if this is a sign of things to come, yeah, I'm actually a little worried with Taysom Hill there. I really might be. I don't think his running's going to change much, but it's the passing. It's that receiving.
Yeah, and especially if you're in a PPR league. And even this one, the touchdown saved its day, but he didn't. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot going on. 45 yards isn't going to get the job done when you go into the playoffs.
Right, for Atlanta, just a very poor game for Atlanta. Matt Ryan, 232 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. No touchdowns at all for Atlanta on the day.
No, if you had anyone, Kelvin Ridley is the only one because he had 90 yards, but he's the only one. Todd Gurley completely missed the boat. He was very touchdown dependent, which we had talked about. He obviously didn't get in the red zone, so it doesn't matter. Julio Jones, 2 for 39. And then, like you said, Matt Ryan, very this is just an unorthodox game for him. I mean, he was bad.
It's bad. It's bad. Not good. But all right, how about Washington, Cincinnati? Washington wins 20-9. Bad news from this one. Joe Burrow looks like he tore his ACL, so that's disappointing to see. I don't think that does not fare well for Cincinnati going forward for the rest of this year. I would not be looking to play any of these guys, even on this one. So Ryan Finley comes in and he's just not good. So,
well, I was going to say it definitely. If you weren't, you're already trying to play defenses that are going to go against Cincinnati, but this one definitely amps that up, right? I mean, you're not going to I mean, this has got to be a golden pick all of a sudden.
Yes, it does. I mean, this is going to be ugly. Mixon's on IR now. He has at least 2 more weeks before he can come back. They have good receivers, but these receivers aren't going to be able to do much of anything with Ryan Finley. So, I mean, Boyd had a good day at 9 for 85. AJ Green caught himself a touchdown, but this is going to be ugly. I would say avoid all Bengals at this point.
Yeah, I think it does absolutely kill anyone that had a hint of like, oh, I could play him. Like T. Higgins, he really was playable this year. I think that completely takes him off the board. Tyler Boyd, I would say the same. He might actually be the safest one because I feel like he's more of a possession guy.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe they go to AJ Green now a little more. But if this is any indication, a touchdown saved him, but still 4 for 41. I can't imagine salvaging anything from this roster right now.
No. How about for Washington, Alex Smith, 17-25, 166 touchdown and a pick. Didn't have to do a lot, but Antonio Gibson looked pretty decent. 16 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. I think he's a pretty good back. When he gets the work here, he does pretty well. So it was good to see that. McKissick is involved yet. 6 carries, 43 yards. McKissick caught 3 for 26 as well. Terry McLaurin, 5 for 84. He's obviously the main pass catcher there, but they didn't really have to throw the ball too much. So they just get the win, didn't have to do too much, and Antonio Gibson got to run the ball a bit. So solid win for them. How about Panthers, Detroit? Detroit loses this one 20-0.
My God, dude. Can't we just have one like silver lining for the year? You think that maybe this would be the matchup? Swift, all of a sudden he's out, and then we play a team that should not be that good, and they smoke us.
And it's not even like they played that well. With a team without their starting quarterback too.
Yeah, PJ Walker tore us up.
It's
PJ Walker.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the Lions because this is why I talk about them today. Honestly, there's just nothing to take from this. There just isn't. No Swift, no Galladay. Who cares, right? I get that, but you still shouldn't put them nothing. Yeah, it's terrible. For the Panthers with PJ Walker, he threw for 258 yards and touchdown. He did throw 2 picks. Lions just didn't take advantage. DJ Moore had a nice 7 for 127. Curtis Samuel was 8 for 70 and a touchdown. He was really solid there too. And Mike Davis got a touchdown on the ground with 64 yards. So Panthers get it done. Just Lions, man. Oh, it's kind of ugly there. And it's a bad day. It was a bad weekend for me to be a sports fan in Michigan for football being.
You guys got the win.
Yeah, we got a 3 overtime win against Rutgers. Michigan barely beat Rutgers.
The U of M is always the powerhouse.
They barely beat Rutgers. Oh, it took a lot to beat Rutgers. Jeez. All right. Man.
Yeah, back to the pros.
Yeah, earlier today, it was funny. Earlier today, my wife asked me where the Lions game's getting done. She's like, "Why do the Lions always suck?" She knows nothing about football. She's like, "Can't they just can't they just get new players or something? Like, what's wrong?"
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just the life of a Lions fan. It's pretty poor. I never would have thought the early 90s when I was just a young kid that was going to be the prime of Detroit Lions football for me. It wasn't even that good.
Yeah, I never thought that Scott Mitchell was going to be the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play for the Lions.
Oh, it's not good. How about Steelers, Jacksonville? Steelers win 27-3 to go 10-0. This is like a quiet 10-0 to me. It's
very
weird.
Quiet. I was about to ask. Yeah. I feel like every once in a while we'll mention it, being like, are they still undefeated? Do you actually? I mean, so they're 10-0. So you have to start asking the question, even though you don't want to jinx it. Is there an opportunity? Like, is it possible for them to go undefeated?
I guess there is.
And on top of that, are they truly a Super Bowl contender? Because I feel like a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, they'll make the playoffs." You know,
it was like Kansas City.
They're not real.
It was Kansas City, Baltimore were the teams, but no, this defense I think is that good, and the offense is. I mean, it's a great defense with a very solid offense, and I mean it's all around good. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's playing well for the most part. 267, 2 touchdowns a pick, but he has receivers to throw the ball to. Deontay Johnson was the guy who led this one, 12 for 111. Chase Claypool caught one of the touchdowns. So did Eric Ebron, caught one of the touchdowns on my team this week. Good old Ebron, I love you. You're a great benefit. I've always thought highly of you.
I feel like after last year, you shouldn't even be allowed to have him on your team. Like you should just we'll have to have some sort of thing where it just doesn't allow you to draft him.
James Conner was 13 carries, 89 yards, so solid there. But the touchdown goes to Benny Snell, which James Conner owners were not excited to see that one. But, just all around solid. This team's just a good team. I think they picked off Jacksonville 4 times in this one. So just a good defense. For Jacksonville, really not much here. I mean, even though but the great, I guess the thing about, James Robinson in a game this terrible still got himself 94 total yards. So you know what? As bad as this was, 3 points for Jacksonville, Robinson in standard scoring gets you 9.4. And you're like, okay, I'll deal with that. That's fine.
What's the craziest part too is like we look at a lot of box scores, and just going through all of the ones that we've already looked at, and even Pittsburgh is a great example. And this is pretty ordinary. You have 5 different guys in the box score that had rushed at least one time.
All right.
Pretty ordinary. And we always talk about like James Robinson is so special because he's the only one that he's the only one in the box score. No one else attempted to rush, not even the quarterback. What is that?
Yeah, it's all James Robinson, and
they're losing that much, and they got picked off 4 different times. So you're kind of like, oh, maybe we'll throw in a trick play or something. No, he's the only one, and he had 17 rushes in a game where you're behind the entire time. I mean,
he's very safe. He has his ceiling is high, or his floor is very high. It's a very high floor. It's just you feel just solid about he's going to get you something, even in a terrible game. So, but Jacksonville's bad. They need can you imagine this team? It's hard to believe this team was they were on the verge of the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. It was so close. I mean, they were winning in the second half against the Patriots.
That's what happens. I mean, look at all the people they released though. I mean, Jalen Ramsey and I'm forgetting his name, but the DT that is very, very good.
Calais Campbell, he was on that team that year.
Yes, Campbell. You lost a lot of defensive pieces. And then on top of that, this will be the question mark. I mean, more than likely, they'll probably use it on one of those high-profile QBs, probably. But, is Minshew mania coming to an end because of all this?
Oh, yeah. They're going to go Trevor Lawrence if they have the chance. It's basically, if they get the opportunity, they'll go for him. So, all right, how about final one we'll talk about tonight? We've got Tennessee beats Baltimore 30-24. Tennessee 7-3. Baltimore is actually only 6-4 now. So I know we talked about that before, how it wasn't really happening too much for fantasy, but hey, they were winning games, right? So that's all that mattered. But hey, they're 6-4 now. So
2 losses in a row, and Tennessee is a good team. So don't get me wrong.
Yep.
And I had mentioned this, and it did not. I mean, I'll say this: it looked like they were trying to do it a little more because Lamar Jackson had 13 rushing attempts. He did turn it into 51 yards, which you're always hoping for more. Mm-hmm. But it did look like all of a sudden they're trying to give him the opportunity to make plays a little more. Tennessee is a good team. The next couple games, I do expect big things out of Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I'm still on that. I know he only had 18 in standard this week, but I think that he is going to be a home run hitter the next few weeks.
I'm hoping this is the floor then again. This is what we originally thought was going to be the floor with Jackson at these kind of games. Gets 50 yards, only a touchdown there. I think this is the floor of where he's going to be. Tennessee's good. So I think better things are coming.
The other question I do have for you, and I want your opinion, is pretty much it was a carousel, right? You have 3 running backs when they were healthy. Mm-hmm. All of them kind of got the same amount. Gus Edwards was a little more of the goal line, whatever it may be. Look, Lamar got 13. J.K. Dobbins got 15 carries, turned it into 70 yards and a touchdown. Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram only got 3 and 2 carries, respectively. Mm-hmm. Is this the turnover to J.K. Dobbins, saying that he's the superior talent, or do you think this was just the game flow?
Honestly, it could be that turnover. It could be the change into the guard here, just like the Lions kind of were doing it with Swift last week before now Swift was hurt this week. I think Baltimore might be doing it with Dobbins. If that's the case, and they get Lamar more running the ball again and doing that whole thing, I think this opens up Dobbins, and I think Dobbins could really do something here down the stretch as well.
I agree. I'm not sure if I'm willing to put a game on the line, like put him into my lineup right now, but I'm very close. I am one game away to saying, hey, if he gets another 15 carries, Dobbins will probably be going in.
For sure. I think it could be trending towards that. Mark Andrews got himself a nice touchdown today, so finally a good game from him there, 5 and 96. And Des Bryant second on the team in receptions with 4. So good to see him getting a chance.
That is awesome. I mean, it really is cool. I wasn't sure if we're ever going to see the great Des Bryant again.
It's pretty
4 for 28. I don't even care. Just you're on the field again. You caught a few balls. Good for him.
Yep. Over on the Titans side, Tannehill 259, 2 touchdowns through a pick. Henry solid, 28 carries, 133 yards. Got that touchdown to end the game. And then receiving wise, it's Corey Davis. He shows back up today. 5 for 113.
Always playing with us.
I don't know how to play this guy. Like, what do you do? I mean, he had that zero.
Yeah, he makes it difficult.
I think he definitely has talent. He's definitely he has chances to do this. It's really, really hard to play him because you just don't know if this is going to happen every time. But A.J. Brown's the one who got the touchdown, 4 for 62, and then Jonas Smith got one as well. Man, that Corey Davis thing is just I don't know what to do with him. I have a hard time playing him because I can't trust it. But give me another week of this and maybe I'll believe you again. And then he'll go to give me nothing, right? So
right. And I'm really blown away at the ability of AJ Brown or Tennessee, the way they scheme it, is how consistently how many touchdowns this guy catches. I mean, it looked like he wasn't going to do anything for the first half of the game, and he still manages to get in. I mean, how many touchdowns does he have so far?
He doesn't.
What does he have? 7 in the last 8 games? I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It's not bad at all. Yeah, and he just gets touchdowns. Yeah, solid day for Tennessee. They've been good. Derrick Henry just keeps getting it done. He has a good schedule coming up, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty good for the Titans, I think. So, all right, I think that's gonna do it though for the part 1 of the recap. We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna get through the rest of the games around the league. Talk to you guys then.